Hello, planner friends. I am coming on to do my Go Wild question and answer video that I posted in my stories a few days ago. So if you have not seen yet, very early this morning I did a Go Wild vlog. About the middle of the day I did a Go Wild swag video, and now to wrap up my lovely Saturday we are doing a Go Wild question and answer. So today is all about Go Wild and my first time going, so my experience and all of those things. So I do have a list of pretty good questions here that I'm gonna try to answer every single one of them. These are all from my Instagram question box. If you guys do have other questions though, leave them in the comments because I will try to answer them to the best of my ability down there as well. So first time going to Go Wild. It was a blast. It was amazing. Definitely a time to remember, and I will be sharing everything with you guys. I think one of the questions that I wanted to answer first, oh, where did it go? See, I needed to keep track of this. I should have wrote it down in the order that I was going to answer it. Let me see here. What do you do again? I wanted to see, what is it like? Okay, so someone asked, what is it really like to be there? So I kind of want to share with you guys what it's really like. I want to start with kind of like how the process goes and all of those things, and then just kind of share my experience with it. So it's like a 2.5-day conference. Basically, you start on a Thursday, you do registration, and you do some sponsor booths area where you can go around and get some freebies and some swag and all of those things. And then that evening, Thursday night, is the welcome party. This year, again, you guys, this is my first Go Wild. I cannot compare it to any other Go Wild. I can't compare it to much of anything, and I can't guarantee this is what it'll be like next year. But it is a welcome party. It is not an open bar. There's karaoke, and there are some cupcakes from Chrissy and Designs, who sponsors that event. So that is what it was like. It was a lot of dancing, a lot of fun times, and a lot of karaoke, so lots of singing and things like that. Then we had Friday morning. A lot of people woke up extremely early to get in line to try to get the best table that they wanted to. I ended up sitting at the Zebra sponsor table, which if you guys did not see in the swag video, I got so much stuff from Zebra. I was so thankful for that. And then there was like 5 speakers, I want to say. Stephanie Fleming, Sydney from Llama Letters, then we had Chloe, the comedian, then we had a panel, then we had a podcast recording. So 5 speakers. That day we had an energy break sponsored by Cloth and Paper, and then we had the afternoon off. So it ended around 1 o'clock, 1:30 maybe. You had the afternoon off to do lunch or whatever you wanted to do. And then that evening was the Wild Crop. So that was new this year. So like I said, you know, we can't compare it to past experiences or future ones because it seems like things are changing. But Wild Crop was basically like make and takes, actually crafting at the event and planning and all of those things. We had Zebra, I think was the main sponsor for that one, but there was smaller sponsors as well. Rad and Happy, Lights Glitter Action, Bullet, Stencil, something like that. There was a bunch of different sponsors. And then Friday we had, or Saturday, sorry, so that was all day Friday. Then Saturday you wake up and we had some more speakers. So we had Plum Paper, I'm trying to like remember everybody. Plum Paper, Amanda LeCount, she danced. Then we had Allison. Then we had Alicia Silverstone. Oh, and then we had a Chrissy and the Science trivia. So again, 5 speakers or 5 things happening. All during that time, people are handing out swag, or like speakers are, you know, giving out swag, and you have table mate gifts and things like that, which are not necessary. So that is kind of what's set up like. Then you have Saturday afternoon off, and then Saturday night you have Plan Jamma, which is sponsored by the Happy Planner. It is basically, it is an open bar, so there is drinking. They had some food, like a nacho bar and pizza, and then they had like just some seesaws and rope swing circular things, some cornhole, and then a bunch of dancing. It was a lot of fun, and things like that. So that is kind of the layout of the time. And then a lot of people fly home on Sunday this year because it was so close to Disneyland. Some people went to Disneyland. I did go to Disneyland. It was amazing. It kind of put the cherry on top of the conference for me. But anyway, so that's what it's like. What it's really genuinely like is, one, overwhelming. It is a lot of people, and maybe that's because, you know, we've mostly been home for 2 years with the pandemic, all the things, but it was really overwhelming with how many people there was. But it was also overwhelming in a really good way because I got to meet so many people that I've built relationships with online, and that was just amazing. It is also really chaotic. I'll talk about the best and worst thing in a little bit. That was another one of the questions, but there was not a lot of structure to the event, and that was a little bit of a bummer for me. But I'll get into more detail about that in a little bit. But it was also so fun. I learned a lot, and I got to meet a whole bunch of people, and yeah, so that's kind of what it was really like. I hope that answered that question pretty well. And then, okay, so now I think I'm just going to kind of go down the list. So would someone not on YouTube learn anything at Go Wild? My answer is yes. I mean, there was 1,500 people that attended this conference, and definitely not everybody is on YouTube. I would say like maybe like out of 1,500, like 100 is on YouTube. I don't know. I just made that number up. But I mean, there was so many people who knew of me, but there was also so many people who were like, oh, who's that crazy redhead over there? Like dancing and partying. Like they don't know me, you know what I mean? So there were a lot of people who had supported me, which was so amazing. Thank you for all of the support. And they're like, oh, I know you, Amber. Like I want to take a picture with you. But there was also so many people who didn't know me, you know? And I was like just introducing myself to people. So it is definitely not just for YouTube. Some of the main things that I learned, a couple things I can definitely say that I learned is, one, I really loved Cindy from Llama Letters. She talked about loving, instead of planning a life you love the life you plan. And it was kind of a perspective change for me because it was just so amazing because my life is literally crazy all the time. We have like 9 to 10 therapies a week between our foster kids and you know, I own a small business, so I'm always working on that, releases, marketing, just everything about that. I'm a content creator. You know, I'm just a mom to 5 kids. Like it's a lot. And sometimes I don't love everything. Like I'm planning, but I don't love it because it's just everyday stuff, all the therapies, all the doctor's appointments. We have a medically fragile kid. I mean, it's a lot. So I just love that perspective change. Like we need to love where we're at and like be content in doing those everyday things that can get boring at times. So that was something that I learned, and that doesn't have anything to do with my YouTube stuff. They do have a shop summit on the Wednesday before. I did not attend this year. I may attend next year. I don't know yet. But that is for like small business owners. So if you are like a content creator or you own a small business, that could be a great place to go to learn things more specific to that. But otherwise, the conference has nothing to do with content creators or small business owners or anything like that. It is just a conference for planners. Okay, the best and not so great thing about Go Wild. So that was kind of asked twice. So we have the best and not so great thing about Go Wild, and then the best and the worst thing. So somebody was like really blunt and somebody was like not so blunt about it. But so honestly, the best thing, you guys, I'm going to just be straight up. The best thing was meeting people that I've built relationships with for a long time online. Getting to see them and hug them and be in real life with them was absolutely the best thing. I know that doesn't really have anything to do with the conference itself, but the conference itself, I would say the best thing was, oh my goodness, that is a hard question. I want to say Plan Jamma was probably the best, or the welcome party. Like one of those two like events where there's just more social interactions and more networking that can be had, because like otherwise you're sitting at a table with just the people that you sit at a table with, so you get the chance to just be around everybody and meet new people and talk to new people. So those two events like were a great opportunity to reach out and meet other people. Now, the worst thing, I told you guys I would talk about this, is the chaos. You guys, it was really chaotic, and I do not think it was very well planned out. I'm just going to be honest with that. This is my opinion. I do not work for Team Wild. I have nothing to do with them. I was just an attendee, and maybe sometime in the future I will. I don't know, but this is my input on it. Friday morning, a lot of people get there at like midnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to line up and get into the doors, like first, like one of the first people to get into the doors out of the 1,500, so they can pick their sponsored tables first, get in there first, and have more time. It was chaos. Like, people who were there at 2 o'clock in the morning were getting into the conference. I mean, everyone gets in, everyone gets a seat, but some people have preference. They want to sit at the zebra table, the happy planner table, the go-getter girl table, the wrong table. I mean, the cloth and paper panda. I mean, the fabulous. I mean, there were so many tables, you guys. There were so many tables. Plum Paper, Erin Condren, geez, Bloom Daily. Now that after I filmed my swag video, I remember all these tables that I saw. Villa Beautiful, Paper Panda. I mean, there's so many good ones. Anyway, so people who were there at like 2 o'clock in the morning were getting in after people who were getting there at like 6:30, 7:30, because the doors opened at 7:45 in the morning. So the way that they had it set up was everyone is just like, so there's like a big open space. I kind of want to use this. So this is like the big open space, this thing. This is the door here. Everyone lines up around this. But it was wrapped around 3 times, okay? So think of that. And then you get closer to this bar, like as a third loop goes around. When they opened the doors, all of these people started going into, so this line over here, well, I guess it's over here, comes into the ballroom. But then the people who are over here, right, like, because the line goes like this, so they're technically further back than the people over here on that farther loop. But these people were just kind of going in, and it turned into a big whoosh of things happening. So there's a couple things that I would do to fix this if I was thinking about this logically and commonsensically. I don't know if that's a word, but with common sense, I would rope off, just have like a thin rope and use that as barriers. And they had like a whole separate ballroom. This was the first time they had 2 ballrooms. Like I said, I don't know if that will be in the future, but they should use the other ballroom and use it as like a snake of just snaking in and out of the line. And then when it's time to open the doors, start here and just cut across into that open room, because they're right across from each other. So like this is here. So this is one ballroom entrance. This is the other. So use this other room, snake them in, and then just let the line flow into the ballroom that the event's going to be in. Or this could cause some problems as well, but I could see this working as well. Having somebody man the station, have it like open, just say even have it open at 6 o'clock in the morning. You don't have to have it open at midnight, but have like a little booth down there, and everyone gets a ticket that says like if the doors are going to open at 7:30 or something, like just have it open at 6. Have the ticket booth open at 6 and say the doors open at 7:30. You give the first 20 people that get the tickets, okay, they can enter right at between 7:30 and 7:35. Then the next 20 people get 7:35 to 7:40, and they can come back down to the ballroom at that time and enter without like just turning in their ticket, and here is their time. They can enter into the ballroom, and it would be way less chaotic because then people have an assigned time to get to the ballroom and to enter it. So that was the worst thing for me, was it was so chaotic. Then the crop was also really chaotic. So that was the first crop they did. So we'll give them some grace, but it was really chaotic. So they were trying to have Christine from Twinkle Plans Her Day talk about mild liners and using them in your planner, but everyone was trying to rush to the make and takes and get all the things that they wanted to craft with. So no one was listening. It was so loud and so chaotic. And next time I would probably like have like 15 tables for this sponsored craft and just like have everything laid out, and then 15 tables and like have everything laid out, and then everyone can kind of go to the places that they want to go, or have like a goodie bag of things and like hand out all of the crafts, have enough for everyone, give out all the crafts when people walk in, give them a little bag. Then have all of the people who sponsored and donated items go on stage and say, hey, here's the make and take I gave you guys. Like, this is a coloring sheet. You guys can use these markers. This is like this is blah, blah, blah. And then everyone would have everything that they needed and no lines, no anything. I mean, it was just crazy. So a little bit disorganized for me. That was probably the worst part. Okay. Was it overhyped or did it live up to the expectations? So it's so hard to say. Like, I feel like it was very hyped up because it was 2 years between the Go Wilds, and it was the 5th Go Wild that they've ever done. So like 2 pretty big milestones for them. Like, after a pandemic, we're coming back together. So I feel like it was very hyped for that. I personally haven't seen it this hyped ever. Like, I just see people sharing it in their stories. Ooh, going to Go Wild. It's here this year, whatever. But I think because it had 2 years to be built up, it was a little bit overhyped. But it did live up to a lot of expectations. Some people said, you know, like, Plan Jam is so awesome. The swag is so awesome. All these things is so great. Meeting people. So it did live up to expectations too. But I just think because of the complexities of this specific Go Wild, it might have been a little bit overhyped, just a little bit. That's my opinion, you guys. That is solely my opinion. Okay, my favorite speakers and why. I did like Cindy from Llama Letters. She definitely has a different personality than I do, so I definitely can get down and say a good cuss word here or there. I sometimes have a sailor's mouth, as a stereotypical person would say. But I don't know. She was like just speaking up there and like very open with her language, which is fine. But she, like I said, I think I learned the most from her, and just like that perspective change for me was so good for me. The other one is Plum Paper. The founder of Plum Paper was there, and she, if you guys haven't seen my swag video, make sure to go check it out. But she gave like a sample booklet of all the layouts that Plum Paper has, and the way that she walked through it and made you feel like it was so simple was really amazing. Like, she knocked it out of the park. She probably was my favorite from the second day, and then Cindy was probably my favorite from the first day. I've heard Stephanie Fleming speak before, so she's always great in my opinion. I think she has a lot of really good things to say. She talked about plans and change of plans and how we kind of like, you know, work around that. So it was a really good talk too, but a lot of the other people didn't talk a ton about planners per se. Chloe, she's a comedian, so her jokes were about planning, which is really funny. Amanda LeCount, she's a dancer, so she talked a little bit, but she also danced. So that's why I said who I said. So anyway, rate it from 1 to 10. Oh, I feel like that is such a question I can't handle. I think I would say 7.5. Between 7.5 and an 8. I mean, it was definitely one really tiring. I literally took nap. So I'm filming this on Friday with all the questions. I napped 3 times on Friday. So when you guys are watching this on Saturday, yesterday I napped 3 times. I have been sleeping. I napped, I think, on Wednesday, like for 2 hours straight from like 12 to 2. Like, I am just sleeping so much. So that's why I don't give it a full 10 out of 10. It is kind of like a weird situation because it's only like a half a day conference, and then the other half of the day you can just do whatever you want, which is fun for networking and socializing and getting together with people. But it's also like, it's an expensive conference. It's over $550. I think it's like $561 or something. That's expensive. That's a really expensive conference for it to only be like a half a day, in my opinion. I don't know. I haven't really been to tons of conferences, but so that's why I'd say 7.5 out of 8, but it was still really, really fun. And I got to meet so many people and it was great. So then the next question, I got it twice. Would you do it again or will you go again and why? So I think the short answer is yes, I would go again. I think that the positives did outweigh the negatives of the experience. Some of the positives, like meeting the people and, you know, like playing JAMA, the welcome party, all of those things were so fun and so amazing. And while some of the speakers were not my favorite, there were some amazing speakers. There were great things. And then just overall, like the whole situation was really fun. So I would definitely go again. I think I would definitely go again. I think it depends where it is, because Disneyland literally put the cherry right on top of that beautiful Go Wild Sunday, because Disneyland was magical. It was the most magical thing. So it depends where it is. But yeah, I would go again. Okay, so then somebody asked, is the conference in the hotel or do you have to drive to it? So this year specifically, the conference was at the hotel that it was, like the block of rooms was at. So I was like sleeping on the 11th floor. The conference was on the 2nd floor in the ballroom. So I think in years past it's been like that too. I'm not 100% sure, but it was on the same campus, and it was like a walk away from some food and Disneyland and just all the things. So I mean, it was really close to a bunch of things. The only thing that was not on the hotel campus was this shop summit. So that was the day before, like I said, on Wednesday for small business owners. That one was like it was like a 20-minute Uber ride to that location. So that was the only thing that wasn't there, but everything else was right on the hotel. Even the welcome party, Plan JAMA, everything was right there. Supposedly, I've heard in years past, like some of those bigger events, like the welcome party and Plan JAMA, were not on grounds for the hotel that the conference was at, but this year it was, so I can't really speak on that. Okay. Someone asked about the Hall of the Goodies. That was posted earlier today, so check out that video. The best part, would I go again? Okay, I already said those things. Was it what I expected? Yes and no. Like, I mean, I knew about a lot of the schedule and a lot of the events and the speakers beforehand, but there was still just stuff that, like, I don't think you can be prepared for. Like, just meeting new people. Like, I am so awkward. I know somebody had commented to me, like, are you okay? Like, are you sad? Are you upset? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I think somebody even like, somebody was like, I thought you were really mad at me, like, because you weren't talking to me. And I was like, no, I'm just so awkward. So I was like, oh, I don't want to like put on like an odd front at all. But like in person, you guys, I'm a really awkward person. Like, I am so shy. I'm very extremely introverted. So it's just weird for me. So that's kind of what I have to say about that. Like, yes and no. It is what I expected, and no, it's not. Because it's a lot of extroverting. It's a lot of peopling. Is it for everyone? I already answered that. Yes, it is definitely for everyone. How many people are at a table? This year it was 10. As far as I know, in past years it was also 10. So there was 10 chairs around a pretty big circular table. Would you recommend going at least once? And then will you do it again? So I already answered I would do it again. Yes, I would. But would I recommend going at least once? I say, like, if you have people on social media that you absolutely love and that you have a relationship with, going and meeting them in person at this event is 100% magical. It is a great experience for meeting people. I do think that that it is it's worth it to go at least once. I honestly do. Like, it was really fun. I mean, if you guys like plan and you're like not really into the community aspect of planning, then maybe not. Like, it might not be worth it to go. But if you guys are like into the community and all of those things, I think that it's 100% worth it to go at least once, to experience it, to be a part of it, to learn, and just to be opened up to different brands and things like that. Because if you guys watch my haul video, you guys would know so many amazing brands that I had no idea even existed, and now I am going to be checking them out and learning more about them because I was so excited to get to know about them at the conference. So I think so. I mean, I think it is worth it just to go at least once. Okay, so the next question, I got two of this question. So it said, what happened at Go Wild regarding the racism and the body image? And then somebody said, what is the real tea on the drama? So I'm going to leave this one pretty short, mostly because I don't want to rehash everything and open up wounds that may be there for some people, especially who were at Go Wild. Basically, a Happy Planner squad member. She is no longer a squad member. She was removed from that status. She made some stories on her Instagram accounts. I don't think on her planner Instagram account. I think on a different one, about planners that she was meeting at Go Wild were living a sedentary, like a stationary, like a not mobile lifestyle, and that there were some other comments that were made as well, and it appeared to be like body shaming and fat shaming some people who were attendees at Go Wild. So the Happy Planner moved swiftly to remove that person from the Happy Planner squad. But then somebody who I actually honestly don't know who it was, I haven't heard of them in the planner community before. She went on to that person's direct messages on Instagram and direct messaged her a racist slur and a comment about like, how would you like it if somebody used a racial slur against you, used that racial slur, and said that is equal to fat shaming, which I'll just put my clear opinion out there. It is not the same as fat shaming. Racial slurs should never be used, and it is 100% wrong. We definitely, live in a world today that we have to work very hard to understand the differences in race and racism, and be very vocal and open about where we stand with that. And I do not agree with that. I do not stand with any form of racism. And to come at her, at the past squad member, for making some comments about other people's bodies. Yes, the comments about other people's bodies were wrong, but do not come at somebody else for their mistakes with especially racism. But like, two wrongs do not make a right. So it was not necessary to do that, and I think I'll just leave it at that. Hopefully that answered the question. Try to keep it brief, but the next question is the real cost of the conference. Okay, so you spend $550, I think like $561 on the conference ticket itself. Then you have to get to the conference, you have to stay at the conference, and you have to eat at the conference. So it's expensive. It was very expensive. So for me, $561 for the conference. The flights I can't talk too much about because I actually used vouchers from 2021 or 2020 flights that were canceled because of the pandemic. I want to say it was like $150 to get there and like $130 to get back. So total, I'd say that was $300. Like I said, I did not have to pay that because I had the vouchers. The hotel, you split it with your roommates. I mean, unless I guess you're volunteering to pay for it. The hotel blocks were $169 a night. I don't remember. All I know is that JoJo and I were there Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So 5 nights. You do not have to be there 5 nights. You can be there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. You can be there for 3 nights. So keep that in mind. It depends how long you stay, but we stayed for 5 nights, and I think it cost us about $500 each. So what are we at? $550 plus $300 plus $500. So like $1,350 right now. Food, I didn't really keep good track of what I spent, but I did keep my receipts for my accountant. The food in the Uber definitely adds up. So, I mean, you just want to make sure that you're budgeting for that. It was nice though, because I would pay for the Uber sometimes, JoJo would pay for the Uber sometimes, or we'd take like a big Uber and like we'd all just like split it. So it was nice to have that as an option as well. And then food wise, we did go to Target and buy some snacks. So we were snacking a lot, but we ate like lunches. We ate a late lunch every day. So we had some real food at least once a day. So I would say that's the biggest cost for the conference, those like 3 extras there. So getting to the conference, staying at the conference, and eating at the conference. My biggest breaker of my bank was Disneyland Day for sure. I bought all of my kids, you know, like a toy from Disneyland, which was a ridiculous decision in my whole life. Like I could have just went to Target and bought them something cheap. And I was like, you know what? I'm not giving them a t-shirt because they're going to grow out of it in a year and they're not going to wear it. So I buy them a toy, which honestly, they will grow out of in a year also. They'll probably lose it. So either way, it was a dumb choice. I could have bought them a lollipop and they would have been happy. So anyway, long story short, I ended up having to buy another suitcase because the gifts that I bought them were too big. So that kind of goes to the very last question is, do you really need a second suitcase? The answer is yes. 100% you need another suitcase. Like, you definitely need another suitcase. So, in my like carry-on bag, I had all of the swag. Then in the other suitcase, I had my clothes and stuff. And I didn't pack as well, you know, coming home as I did. So in the 3rd suitcase, I had the toys I bought for the kids, some extra swag just because like the zebra stuff was big. So it was big stuff. And then I did, oh, what else did I have? Oh, the gifts for the kids in the other one. So you guys, I think that is literally all of the questions that I got. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will answer them as I can and to the best of my ability. But I hope that this video was helpful for you all. Go Wild was definitely a wild experience. I definitely would go again. But you know, just like with everything, there's pluses and minuses and good things and bad things. And I'm here to be open and as open as I can. And I hope that you guys were able to receive some good tips for the future. And as we find out where Go Wild is and stuff like that, and you know, next year we'll continue to have this discussion and talk about all the things. So I think that is it. So yeah, have a great night and thank you for joining me for Wild Saturday, where we just dumped 3 videos on you guys. Long videos to say the least, all about Go Wild. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Bye, babes.